Hello, and welcome back to my photography channel. I just got finished making a little video about distractions that you'll see, and it got me to thinking a lot. Also about my ideas about composition. The photography world is full of crap, full of crap you don't need to worry about. The rule of thirds. The rule of thirds, for example, has good ideas, and it's a guideline as you're learning to be a photographer, learning to make your skills look more presentable. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that stuff. I guess inherently I've learned composition by trial and error. I know about rule of thirds. I know about some other things, but a lot of your style is going to be trial and error, guys. Your ability to tell the story that you want to tell. You will interpret things much different than your colleagues. And that's why we should be individuals. We shouldn't be carving copies of each other when it comes to this stuff. Now, when it comes to classic portraits, as you know, I'm a portrait photographer first, and you have the subject dead center in your picture. Okay, well, that's okay for headshots. You're in the studio, you're shooting up close, so your customer's going to feel the frame a lot more. But when you go out on location, I really try to avoid having the customer as my dead center, and unless I'm doing that classic kind of shot. If I'm in close, when I got half the body or up here or whatever, yeah, it doesn't matter. And I get those classic shots. I blow up, the background's blown out, and I get those shots. And I usually like to get those things over with pretty quick, or every time I move, to a different spot, I'm in a park or someplace like that, I'll get those shots out of the way. Then I said, let's use the environment. Let's use the background and to tell that story. And I try to avoid those shots where the subject is dead center. That looks like a tourist photo. That's like you walking around with your telephone in your hand and a tourist shot. And a lot of times I can tell photographers' skills by the way their pictures are presented. My mood music is playing. If you can hear the guitar. So after I'm done with those classic shots, it's time to use that environment. And what I've always done and like to do is I'll take and I'll move my subject either like to the left or the right, up or down, and I situate them off center on purpose, but it also lets room in the picture to tell your story about whatever's going on in the environment, whether it's a big tree, some flowers, a lake, a big hairy dog or whatever. You include that in your picture. But I don't like, you'll never see me do like a F8 or an F10 shot like that. I usually like F4, F5.6, and I like enough of the background to be defined that tells the story. So I got my model or my customer right here, whatever, and I get the shot that I want, and it tells the story. They're in perfect focus, and I let the rest of the picture define the moment. It's really important, because if we all did things just alike, it'd be so boring. But other things they tell you about composition, they say, oh, never shoot below the person. You don't want to have a big picture looking up their nose. Well, that's probably true if they're really, really close to you. You know, if you're shooting somebody point blank, maybe you don't need to see if they have a hairy nose or whatever. But other than that, man, it's okay. You know, don't worry about it. You know, if you pay attention to everything that's in Facebook, you'll be afraid to take a picture. You got to go out and find out the stuff that works for you and put it in those pictures. You know, they tell you, well, all right, along with composition, I try to avoid direct sunlight. You cannot edit a shadow. I don't care what program you have. When you're trying to edit some shadow off of somebody's face, it's usually you're going to turn it white. You're going to blow out the face. So that's the reason I shoot a lot of flash. If I'm under a tree or whatever, you know, so not only if I'm playing with composition, I want people to see that. And so I take that picture and I have that flash and I start at the lowest power and I get that shot I want. So again, I have a face with no shadows or a body with no shadows, and we got a nice natural looking shot. So think about and play with your composition. You know, go out and you use your family pet or use a flower or whatever. You know, if you have say you have a building out back like we do here at my house, you know, if I had a picture of one of my bonsai trees, I may have my bonsai tree right here, and I have a building right here, and I want that to tell that story, something about my environment. See, so I would never be up here trying to shoot down at my plant, you know, and only getting part of the building. I want to tell that story. So whether you shoot up here or down here, make sure you do it so everything's included. You know, it's not rocket science, but sometimes we get carried away taking pictures and we don't pay attention to really what's going on sometimes. So sometimes we get carried away and and it's not really good. So think about your shot a little more. Don't be nervous. Don't get carried away. Just shoot and have that eye for what's going on. As you develop your eye in photography, your pictures will get better and better and better. And it makes it easier when you go to edit. The better photo you take in your camera, you're just better off altogether. So anyhow, have a great day and think about your composition. Okay, guys? Don't pay attention to the rules so much. Pay attention to what you're wanting to say. All right, so have a great day.